Hi, I'm Nishtha. I'm a group member of Group15, and now I'll start with the GRAPH library, which is an open source graph plotting library of an Android. And for implementation of this library in our project, I have included this line in build.creator dependency block. Now the creator will synchronize all the dependency regarding this library, and in main activity.java. I have included three classes from the GraphView library, which are GraphView class, data point class, and line graph series class. Data point class is a subclass of a series class, which is used to default implementation of a data point, like to store a value in x and y. And line graph series is also a subclass of a series class, which is used to plot data as a line. The GraphView class is basically the extension of a view class, and here I have initialized the series and the dynamic array history. So series are the data points associated with our graph, and the dynamic array history will be used later to remember data when the stop is pressed.
Hi, I'm Samarth and I'll explain the working of the run button. So when the run button is pressed by the user, the click is passed to the Android framework and it calls the on-click listener of the run button that we have set up here. So here is the on-click listener of the run button. For the first time, if the graph were not created, then in this section of the code, the graph is created. Uh, I'll explain what happens after that. So this section handles multiple presses of the run button. If it was previously pressed, it would return from here. Else we just remember the current click of the button and start retrieving the historical data. That historical data is fetched into the graph series, and the series will then be fed to the graph in this update data method. This update data is repeatedly called from a thread which we create here, and the thread keeps running as long as the run pressed is true. The run pressed will be reset when the stop button is pressed.
Hi, my name is Achal Shah and I'm going to explain about the graph view. Initially, we are checking about the graph that if it is initialized or not. If it is not, then we are going to initialize it with the graph object that is of graph view. We are making a frame layout that is named graph frame so that we can associate the graph with it. Here, in the last line of this function, we have initialized it. We have added the view to the graph frame. Here, the line graph series, which is defined in the graph view, is used so that we can see the lines on the graph. Here, the data points are the data structure that the graph uses for the points that are to be plotted on the graph. We have initialized it with 0. We need to form an array list so that we can append the data whenever we need to update the graph. So here we are setting the viewport of the graph, which is we have set the minimum and maximum values to 0 and 9 respectively, and we have set the access bound manual to true so that we can manually change the data. Here we can see that we are checking if the scroll to end is true and last x value only if the last x value is greater than or equal to 9. That is, at a moment we can just see 10 data points on our graph. If it exceeds, then it would append the data and the graph view will shift to the left side, which is explained in this line. So by this we have initialized our graph, and in this way we can get our graph view in the application.
Hello, my name is Hena Shah and today I'm going to explain about the stop button. When the stop button is clicked, the Android calls the on-click function. Over here, the run pressed is set to false because we want to terminate the while loop in the update thread function. When the run pressed is set to false, there are two possibilities. Either the thread is in the sleep state or it is updating the points on the graph. To avoid this situation, we use update thread.join. The update thread.join gives an interrupted exception. So because of this, we are using try and catch over here. Now, after successfully joining the thread, we simply clear all the points on the graph. Now, there is another possibility that we clicked on the run button once and simply close the application without even clicking on the stop button. In this situation, the thread would still be in a memory and that could create a problem. So in this situation, we call the onCreate function. In this function, we first check whether the thread is null or not. If it is not null, we set the run press to false so that the update thread function um, terminates the while loop inside it, and after the while loop is terminated we simply join the update thread function. Thank you.